Oh man. Happy Monday, everyone. It is the week of Thanksgiving. Man, I am ready to eat some food. You are here with us on Monday night. This is the Fifth Quarter Sports Podcast. I am your host, Mr. Kevlar Treatum Swell, and man, I am feeling really well tonight. Joined with me, as always, Mr. Diamond Dirty D for life, and Mr. Skip. Bless you, sir.
Thank you.
Fellas.
I'm
going to start us off with something I heard on the radio station today, and it has to do with the Mountain West women's volleyball division.
Okay.
The San Jose State women's volleyball team has made the playoffs due to 5 forfeits from a transgender athlete being on their team.
What?
The coach of one of those schools that forfeited.
Hold on, Kev. You said that they made it because of 5 forfeits on their team?
The teams that they were going to play have forfeited because they had.
Oh, okay.
Yes. But what was interesting to me is that the coach of one of the schools that forfeited spoke out and is now suspended.
Okay. Do you have the story or you just saw it?
I can pull it up real quick.
Now, okay, while you're doing that, I'm going to assume they got 5 forfeits, so it was 5 different teams?
Yes.
Because you don't play one team 5 times.
No, it was 5 different teams.
And 5 different teams had transgender people on their team.
No, San Jose State has a transgender athlete playing women's volleyball. The teams that they were going to go up against forfeited.
Yeah.
Because there was a guy.
Yes.
Okay, got you. That makes sense. Because I'm like, wait a minute. And they suspended him because he said it's not fair, pretty much.
They suspended the coach of another team. Now, here's an update from what I just pulled up. This went to a judge. And the judge rejected the request to sit the transgender player.
Now, Donald Trump is going to change a lot of this shit. This is one of the things that he talks about. And I hate to say, well, I'm not going to say because I don't know and I didn't research it. But they want to blame the Democrats for this. And I don't know how it came about, where the bill came from to allow this kind of shit. But Donald Trump has preached that he's going to put, he didn't say he's going to put prayer back in school. He said he was going to change it where you're teaching the gay stuff and all that stuff in schools. And what was it? What you know what I'm talking about, right? When they have the LGBT
gender.
Yeah, the gender neutral stuff and all that. He's going to take it back out of schools. This right here needs to be addressed. I don't care, Republican, Democrat, independent, whatever. No person born as a man should be playing women's sports. Period.
Plot twist. The suspended coach is the head coach of San Jose State. The school basically told her she had to let the guy, whatever, on the team. Now now the competition is forfeiting, and she's like, yo, this has to be addressed. This has to, we can't play any games because of this.
I got you. I understand, Miss Mama. I got you. And I'm not talking the political part of it, just that part. The sport portion. On it. But so the coach who had the player on his team spoke out.
Yes.
He or she got suspended.
Yes.
Out of the school because the school forced him. Boy, that money is a monster, man. This is all money. That's what this is. The people that are doing these NIL deals and boosters and everything else, they're controlling the narrative now. That's the only way I can see that. Number one, if you force a coach to have somebody on your team and teams forfeit the game against them, money will handcuff you. That's all I can say. Thank you, Miss Joyce. No politics. We get
it. All right, fellas, we are going to roll into the wild and wacky weekend that was college football.
Before you start, Kel. Me and D was shooting your butt down for the last 2 months, 2 weeks. But boy, everything you said, with the exception of 1 or 2 games that happened this weekend, good stuff, brother. Now, continue.
Well, since you mentioned it, we'll go ahead and why not? Why not? All right. Well, the South Carolina Gamecocks have an opportunity this weekend to make the top 12. And I've been saying it since the beginning of the season. Even with the slow start we had, I mean, we were 3-1, then we dropped to 3-3. Now we're on a 5-game win streak. We're one of the hottest teams in the country. You can't deny it.
Outside of Oregon, you got a lot of hottest.
And guess who we play this weekend? The Clemson Tigers, who I'm guessing by tomorrow at noon will be ranked number 12.
You think so?
1-2.
Ironic you say that about the rankings. I saw something and it was Dan Le Batard.
Mm-hmm.
Le Batard, like how you said it.
Yes.
He made a comment. It was on my app on the phone, on ESPN app. He said there will not be a 3-loss team in the playoffs if they're not the Georgia Bulldogs. Now, when he said that, I opened it up and I watched it. And what he said was, with Georgia's schedule, the toughest in the country, if they went out and then lose they're not playing the SEC championship, right?
Yes.
Or they will. If they went out and then lose to Texas in the SEC championship, they will be the only 3-loss team in the playoffs.
If they play Texas.
But I'm like, that don't make sense.
If they play Texas. If they play Texas. If they play Texas.
If they lose to Texas.
No, I'm saying only if they play, if they play Texas and lose to Texas, that's a possibility. Because if they play Texas, now if they play Texas A&M and they lose, it's done. You follow me?
Oh,
they have to play Texas and possibly lose to Texas because now you got a split basically. You see what I'm saying? They beat Texas in the regular season and vice versa. If that's a possibility. But with Kev team is now the problem. They can mess the whole thing up because there's a lot of dominoes that have to fall in Kev's favor.
They failed though, pretty much with the exception of what, one team?
There were 8 scenarios. The Gamecocks needed 5 of them to go right.
Didn't 5 go right?
6 of them went right.
Exactly. Yeah, because that's why I gave you the kudos in the beginning because you said it. Boy, Kansas could beat Colorado. I don't think they're going to beat them, but they upset some big teams and bam.
I think this is important to say. D, what I tell you, I told you to talk to God, not to me. Yeah. It was in His hands, and D was ragging me all night, about it. The next morning he called me. He said, "Your little crazy ass is probably right."
Yeah, because the only thing about it, I want y'all to listen. I want y'all to beat Clemson because I don't care for Dabo Swinney because he got up Saturday morning and he does it all on politicking.
I saw that.
All of them are politicking, and because for their teams, which they should. But don't get on here and you say we're all playing for the Big Ten and SEC invitation. No, don't say that. When you've been playing in a mediocre conference where you have won. You have won 2 national championships in playing in this conference. Now that NIL has kicked in, you one of the few coaches that say, "Hey, I'm not getting involved in it," and your team has suffered. But now y'all are persevering over there, and you're doing a great coaching job. Don't say that. Y'all all signed up for this. Get upset with your commissioner and the people in your bylaws. Y'all are making these cupcake schedules. The Big Ten and SEC are playing each other. It's not their fault that they have ranked teams that play other ranked teams and things of this nature, and they don't mind the travel. You playing in the ACC, and which is a basketball conference, which we know a lot of y'all money get poured into basketball. and not in the football like
most schools.
yeah.
Not a Miami, not a Clemson. Because Clemson basketball squad is not the breadwinner of that school. It's the football squad.
Yeah. But majority of when we talk ACC,
the majority of them. Yeah.
Here's one thing you got to add though, and to Dabo, my bad, I was frozen a second ago. To Dabo's comment, every time y'all play an SEC team, you lose.
That's true.
He sits back and says it's a Big Ten and SEC invitational. When you play SEC, don't act like you're good against SEC teams. You're not. You beat Alabama twice for a national championship, which is impressive. But when you only play one SEC team a year, you might end up getting one. But if you're going SEC week in and week out, Dabo, you don't have a chance.
Now, on that last part, I beg to differ. If he was in this conference, he'd have better players than what he has. He'd have access to them, which he does now anyway. But we're not talking about a coach. What's his name? Miles down at LSU. What's the coach name at LSU?
Brian Kelly.
We're not talking about Brian Kelly who goes to teams where he uses their identity to win. We're talking about a damn good coach and Dabo Swinney. So if Clemson was in the SEC, I don't think they'd be getting blown out like this. They're playing, like you said, one team a year, and they're losing to that team, whichever team it is. But if they had an SEC schedule, then I'm quite sure he'd do like what Deion said when he was at Jackson State. I'll beef up. Deion said, they asked him what would he be ready to play Alabama? He was like, no, we're not ready for that. I'm not big enough. Outside of the big time positions, I'm not big enough. I'm just not ready. And I think that's what all teams outside the SEC are realizing. We don't have the big 275 guy, a 295 guy that can run a 4.5, 4.6 40. Playing defensive tackle. So I think Dabo could do good in the SEC. If Clemson was in the SEC, I think he'd still be Dabo Swinney.
If he had a few years to build up his team, absolutely. All right, that's enough Clemson talk.
We ain't gonna keep talking about Gamecocks though.
They are the enemy this week, so I don't want to hear any more of it. We are going to start with the big noon kickoff game, which we all expected it to go this way, and I think a lot of folks were hoping it went this way. As much as folks hate Ohio State, they steamrolled the Hoosiers to give them their first loss of the year, 38-15.
And I hate 11-4-15.
I do too. I wish it would have.
You're supposed to stomp a roach out, not calling them a roach, but just when you see a roach, you stomp it to kill it, and that's what Indiana's doing. They're a basketball school. They've gotten lucky. I ain't gonna say they got lucky. They beat all the teams on their schedule. I always say that you beat your schedule, and this argument was if somehow they beat the great Ohio State, get the hell out of here. What you want everybody to lay down? What is it? What do you call it? D when classroom, right? When everybody just runs to the right.
Student by the left, student by the right.
Student by the left, student by. No, come on, man. I wish they hadn't let them score at all. Army the same. Army made some noise and don't let them.
Well, this is arguably the best year in my lifetime of watching college football. Because we're tuning into games week in, week out that we never ever watched. We was over here looking at the Arizona State and BYU. We have never in our mind looked at that game. Period. Unless it wasn't nothing else on TV. They have marketed this well, ESPN, ABC, Fox, CBS. Well, we have a game every week. Now, rivalry week. We know it's rivalry week, but now rivalry week has took on a whole new moniker because now it's playoff implications. It ain't just playing for a bowl. It's playoff implications. Well, you have a Texas and a Texas A&M finna play this week. We got an Arizona State game that is we will peep in and watch it just because to see if Arizona State gonna win.
Right. But it's because of the 12-team playoff field, which is bull to me. Yes, the players are getting paid now. So, yes, they should work more. I get it. But for the ones that are getting paid minimum wage, NIL minimum wage, playing 4 extra games, possibly, and could end your career in any one of those games before you even make a career out of it. That little minimum wage you're getting ain't gonna carry you far.
Now, the catcher is going to be. This is the flip. This is the flip side. The flip side of my opinion is when we have the field set. Let's say we got the 12 teams set, right? Everybody's set.
Mm-hmm.
From 13 down, how many of those players on those teams from 13 down opt out of the boat and don't play?
Well, we saw it with Florida State last year. When they were on the outside looking in, those players didn't play when they played Georgia. I read that. But because that's an oxymoron. You said it because they signed with a non-SEC team. It's not all about the SEC. And I think that's what's wrong with people that root for teams in the SEC. Yes, y'all are the strongest conference, but last 5 national championships, y'all got 2 of them.
Well, the parity, TC, the parity to me, in my opinion, I knew me and Kev stated this. Kev said that Georgia might have 2 losses on their schedule. Of course, me just being a Georgia fan, of course, you want your team to go undefeated, but I'm a realist. I'm not stupid. I know I can look at the team and tell this is not one of the best Georgia, top to bottom, powerhouse Georgia team in the past years when they won the national championship. They're not. SEC and Big Ten are the ones with the major powerhouse conferences, and they the ones with the money. So this is a money grab. We talked about this on previous shows. This is all about money. I think it should go by the ranking system or whatever. What we will see probably next year, you will see these teams putting tougher schedules together because that's what they're going to use, strength of scheduling. This is how they fighting this and what they're doing.
And if they do that, let me cut you right there real quick. Remember what you was about to say. If they do that, you're going to have the Indianas go undefeated. You have the TCUs go undefeated, the Armies, and all these teams that don't play in these tougher schedules. Because when you're creating tougher schedules, that means they're playing each other. They're not going to play the Indianas and not the Notre Dames, the whoever, the Charlottes. Florida State beat Charlotte this year. But if Charlotte don't have, yes, this weekend, if Charlotte don't have no big name schools on there and they go undefeated, then what? You're going to have 5 or 6 undefeated teams because they never played a powerhouse because the powerhouses were trying to concentrate on having the strongest schedule. You get what I'm saying? Then what? Still 12 players, still a 12-team playoff.
So the way and then like you said, they have it set up where every conference winner is gonna they're gonna be an automatic champion bid. And then you go from there. They screwed up this whole thing personally. I think you should wait. You should wait after the season, after the conference championship games, like they do Selection Sunday with the NCAA March Madness tournament.
Sure.
Wait, but see, it's a bunch of chatter, a bunch of fanfare, a bunch of back and forth. Who this and who that? This is a conversation piece, and they're getting ratings off this stuff, and they are making us watch these games every week. It's intriguing to me. I mean, now
that part of it, the money aspect of it, I get it, but we're still got to worry about the football playing aspect of it too. TC said some things in that one statement. They're going to add 2 more teams to the SEC next year, and if Georgia is such a powerhouse, they should beat anybody. If that's the case in the NFL, Kansas City should never lose. Dallas Cowboys should be undefeated for the last 3 years. They have the best team on paper. So just because they have a best team on paper, Dallas Cowboys got the best team on paper.
They don't.
Okay. No. They had the best team on paper the last 2 years running. Dak has been in the top 5 quarterbacks the last 3 years running. And can't nobody else say that but Patrick Mahomes. Anyway, my point is this. When you say Georgia is such a power, they should be everybody on their schedule, coaches game plan for what Georgia does. Just like Nick Saban. He was a dominant until somebody said, you know what? This is what they do. If we stop this, we can beat them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what coaching is. That's what game planning is. That's what scouting is about. So just because you're being a powerhouse don't mean you can't lose on any given Sunday. That's the thing. And top where the money is at. It's not about going to the SEC no more about TV exposure. It's about where the money is.
Well, we gonna talk about a game that, Skip, as you just said, any given Sunday, in this case Saturday. I think Billy Napier, well, we already knew that he saved his job, but I think Billy Napier is trying to make a statement before this year ends. The Florida Gators, I told you they were hot last week. They just upset another team, and they were hot. Ole Miss comes to town, and Jackson Dart fell apart in the last 3 minutes of the game.
But this is again the parity that we're discussing now. Let's go to Ole Miss first. We've seen Ole Miss be highly ranked, top 5, top 6, top 10, whatever they be in. They went to bed every single year. Lane Kiffin has been there. It was first the Alabama rivalry that he was going to beat Alabama. That never happened. They get in these games where and like I say, they're playing. Their biggest Super Bowl to them was who? The University of Georgia. That's what they say they built and worked for out of his mouth. What they worked for in the off season. They went out and got these mercenaries to come to their team. It's some of his conversation, not mine. And then you go up against it. Look at his losses that he loses to. Then you come out, and don't get me wrong, I'm going to say this. If you're a Georgia fan, TC, if those guys don't get hurt in that Georgia game, we might be having another discussion today. Because Georgia was playing like crap in that game. And as you see, Billy Napier has figured out what he needs to do. And the Gators are going to be a problem if they can keep their nucleus of players together. And look what they did in the game. Yeah. Skip, that high-powered offense that we seen Ole Miss running around and doing all that, they had some injuries in one of their key players, but he still got weapons. They ran the ball and they controlled the tempo of their game. You can't be doing all that stuff if I'm running the ball a cloud of dust, even if I don't get no points and I'm punting the ball away playing the field position game, because eventually somebody gonna break a run and get you down there and get you some points. And then that's when you start that play calling starts, that playbook that you want to open up and start running all this mess. It gets a little tight, and then your quarterback start pressing. That interception he thrown, it was one player down there with 3 Florida Gator defenders.
But that's one of those tighten the playbook plays, though. When you tighten your playbook for people that didn't play football, that means call the plays that always work, that always would get you a first down, that will get you 7-8 yards. And that's what that was. Everybody saw it, and we were like, why would he do that? But that's what he was supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? It's like with Kirk Cousins throwing interceptions or whatever. Yeah, he's a turnover machine. But sometimes that's what the play called for him to throw it. Now, if he's in trouble scrambling and throw it up, we get it. But, sometimes you still have to do what the play calls for. And you give the TOs and the Randy Mosses and the whoever a chance to make a play. They just don't.
Well, D, I don't know if you saw it. Shane Beamer, the Gamecocks head coach, caught a little bit of heat this week for making a comment about Ole Miss receiver Juice Wells. Now, he didn't name him, but he said, we had one of our best guys come to us at the end of last season and tell me, hey, coach, I'm going into the portal. I don't think we have a quarterback. Juice Wells went to Ole Miss to be the 4th best receiver, to end up with the same record as the Gamecocks.
Well,
so, I just want to.
There's more to it than that.
Well, that's the part where, okay, eventually we gonna get. I ain't gonna say it's gonna be tampering because they can do what they want to with this NIL, but of course if you look at some of the background, if it's I play for example, I'm playing for the Miami Hurricanes. You know what I'm saying? I'm not from Clark Gables. I'm a Georgia kid, so forth and so on, and. Georgia Tech come calling, or Georgia, somebody come calling and say, hey, you know what? We know they're giving you $1 million per se, but we're going to give you 5 and we're going to bring you home and give you your housing and all this, and the third. What I might do. Now, with that, you got to go out here and perform. A lot of these guys transfer in and they can't beat out the guy they think they can beat out. This is what happens. You know what I'm saying? The only ones we see that somewhat get guaranteed their spot is when these quarterbacks transfer around everywhere. Other than that, a running back here per se, ETN was having an interview where he said, why would I be the second string running back at the University of Florida? You know your skill set. You know the guy that you're practicing with every day. You can see it. Why I can go to a Georgia and I know I'll be the number one guy. Somebody guaranteed him that.
Of course.
That go for
and the money was involved. There's a lot of there's a lot of other unmentioned things that we don't know about.
You know, you have a quarterback transferred from the New Mexico State. Transfer from New Mexico State, and he has a lawsuit right now against the NCAA. Transfers to Vanderbilt. You see what I'm saying? You know the school wanted you, but Vanderbilt did something to get you.
Yeah. All right. Well, another one that Penn State is squeaking by. Penn State still ranked number 4. They had another close game with a team with a losing record. They ended up beating Minnesota at the last second, 26-25.
I have a problem with something. Now, we talk about Penn State all the time. Kev, you know me, hell I do too. Now, Skip is going to just be a bone to throw at you. You ready? They really don't have a quality win. What's the difference between Penn State record and Miami's record? Because if you look at it, even though Miami's getting in the shootouts, it's the same. It's the same thing we see on paper. The win loss. They win by 3. They win by 1. They win by 2. I don't care how many of the points.
Teams that you should beat and blow out.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I would take a Miami over Penn State just because of the offensive side of the ball. But Penn State has not dropped in the rankings at all. When somebody else was ranked number 1 and they beat a Kentucky team by 1 point, they dropped them, did they not? When Texas played against somebody and didn't play it good, they dropped them, did they not?
You're right. But see,
Penn State is the only one that is hell served in all this type of thing until tomorrow till we see what happens. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
They ain't gonna drop. They're not gonna drop because they didn't lose. And that's the thing. It's about what everybody thinks is gonna happen. And then when nobody thought Miami was gonna be undefeated up until last week. They just knew we were gonna lose to Florida State and we weren't gonna be as good as we are. So this is, in my opinion, with the Miami thing being right behind teams with 2 losses, it's they're gonna fail. The defense is gonna fail them. They're gonna lose to somebody they shouldn't. And then we lost to Georgia Tech and dropped out of the top 10. I'm confused. There were 3 teams with 2 losses in the top 10. So this is one of those things where the conspiracy theorists say they don't like Miami or they hating on us, and the argument can be made. But with Penn State, I think it's one of those things where people expect them to be good. And with 1 loss, that means they're good. So until they lose, we're not going to drop them. Whereas it was the other way with Miami. We didn't expect them to be undefeated, and we're just waiting on them to fall. And when they fall, we'll just drop them out, and that'll be that. That's the way I see it.
This is the crazy part, along with your so-called strength of scheduling.
Mm-hmm.
Your losses, another team losing hurts you also. So let's say, for instance, again, if, of course, Ohio State did beat Penn State, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's their 1 loss. Close game or whatever. It'll hurt Penn State's strength of schedule if Ohio State goes out here and loses them some Johnny-come-lately college team.
They got beat by a team that's lower ranked than them.
Yeah. So that's why when you want to argument a Miami or a Georgia or any of these other schools that have these losses on their record, when you ask Skipper Wise, we just talking. Georgia's ranked higher than a Miami with a 1 loss because they're looking at the losses of those teams that Georgia lost to and their ranking. Where you have
even when we were undefeated, Georgia had 1 loss and they were ranked in front of us.
And that's the part I was saying. They looking at, okay, they lost to the number 1 team in the nation. I'm just saying hypothetical. They lost to the number 1 team in the nation, where you have, just like I said, you see what happened when we get into Alabama losing. That loss hurt Alabama more than it gained helping Georgia. Because look who they lost to. You have a Oklahoma team You have all these teams that are winning, that's beating. You know what I'm saying? Auburn beat Texas A&M. That hurts more than you losing to a number one ranked Oregon. You follow me?
I got you.
That hurts bad. And then you looking at a 1-5 Oklahoma beating an Alabama team that's in a playoff. You know what I'm saying? So that and it's just
beating them badly.
It's just crazy. It's just crazy. It should be, in my opinion, off your record, 1-loss record or whatever it is, and just leave it at that. Take it, because at the end of the day, y'all do make the schedule for y'all teams. Y'all make it for you can have a shoe-in way to get to wherever you're trying to get to or whatever. But then when it gets to the nitty-gritty, oh, my team undefeated. Oh, we got but 1 loss. Then the argument for the committee is, well, you didn't play nobody but one ranked team. You know when you make your schedule or whatever you're trying to set up, who's going to be ranked. You already know that.
Yeah, but who thought Florida State was going to lose 9 games?
No, we none of us did. No.
You don't go from undefeated to losing 9 games. You just don't.
We didn't think that.
So again, when you're making these schedules, like, and the Florida Gators weren't bad, but who thought they were going to be this bad by this far into the season?
They're bowl eligible. They just had a bad start. It took them a while to get it going.
We had 2 ranked teams on our schedule, and we don't play Clemson, right?
Nope.
So no. So we got that's pretty much it with Florida and Georgia, which Florida State was in the top 5 at the beginning of the season. You get what I'm saying?
But there you go. But like you said, what I'm saying, just like you said, Florida just came bowl eligible. Florida had a tough schedule. Remember, Kevin, we did the show. We was talking
they were
about
like number 2 or something, right behind y'all.
Yeah, so we knew exactly what was going on. I think even so, when Georgia got this schedule, we already kind of looked at it. Something gonna happen. It's something is going to happen. You see with Alabama, we didn't think Alabama would lose to the team that they lost to. There's a possibility you could have lost to a Georgia. You could have lost to a Tennessee. Those are
almost given. To the Cox.
Those are given, and you too, sir. But that's what I'm saying. But as now, everybody's getting everybody's A game. You know, ain't nobody laying down. This is what we get.
But I want to say, Kev, who are y'all 3 losses? Who?
Alabama, Ole Miss, LSU.
Outside of LSU, I think with the strength of their losses, they should be in the top 10.
We have 4 top 25 wins. We play after this weekend. We will have played 7 teams total.
Well, no, LSU ain't in the top 25 no more, are they?
They were when we played them, though. They were top. They were like top 15 when we played them.
Y'all got 4 top 25 wins and 3 top 25 losses, and Georgia's schedule is harder than y'all's. How?
It is.
Yeah, I think we're number 7 in the nation.
It is ranked that way, but you play 7 of 12 games against top 25 teams.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying that a 3-loss Georgia will get in before a 3-loss South Carolina. Don't make sense. But
the only way. But in my opinion, what goes on this weekend, and then we have the conference championship. That's why I said they should wait till after the conference championship and then put these things out. But they need a conversation piece because all the controversy that has went on in the past years of the select committee. Personally, I don't believe in nobody sitting behind no computer screen or nothing making these decisions. Have you went to travel the country to see South Carolina play or see these teams that's on the bubble, you per se, or give us a criteria? You know what I'm saying? Okay, you lose more than 2 games against an unranked opponent. Yeah, so ain't nobody got to talk about this. We ain't got to talk about it no more. Yeah. Or just wait till mid-year and here go the rankings.
But see, the difference in waiting like the NCAA does is NCAA has 64 picks. Well, 65. Whereas college football, we're going out 12. You get what I'm saying?
You took the March Madness thing.
Yeah, the March Madness is going to have 65 because of the play, the one wild card or whatever. Whereas, football is going to have 12. So, the waiting in football wouldn't make a difference because it'll pretty much iron itself out like it's doing now.
Mm-hmm.
But the arguments are going to come if Carolina does not make the playoffs and Georgia loses, and they do. I think that'll be an issue.
And we haven't played this year, so there's nothing to. And the other hard part about it, 2 of your losses would be the same losses as ours. In that case, y'all lost to Alabama and Ole Miss.
But that's when schedule comes back in, though. The strength of schedule would kick in for Georgia.
The losses, the 2 losses Georgia have, and the team that those teams lost to, hurts Georgia. The only thing that helps Georgia, I'll tell you how it helps Georgia, because Alabama lost to Tennessee, Georgia beat Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you have Ole Miss losing to Florida, Georgia beat Florida. You see how that?
But see, also I think what plays into it too, D, is when they lost to Alabama, both teams are undefeated.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
When the Gamecocks lost to Alabama, Alabama had 1 loss.
Carolina had 1 as well.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I guess the timing of the loss makes a difference too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. All right. Well, another big upset. The Kansas Jayhawks. What I tell you, same thing with Florida. They just upset BYU the week before. The Jayhawks were hot. And honestly, I went back and looked at their schedule because they were saying it during the game. This team could easily be a 3-loss team as well. They sit at 5-7 now, but the Kansas Jayhawks upset the Colorado Buffaloes 37-21. Skip.
I watched part of that game on my little bootleg thing, and hey, look, I'll cut the ties. I don't have cable on nothing, so I have to watch the games where I can watch them at. But the refereeing sucks.
That low hit on Shador.
Not only that, Travis Hunter did a post flag. The dude wrapped him up and did a tango dance with him in front of the referee.
No call.
Then Travis Hunter all the way around in front of him.
No call.
And ran on downfield.
No call.
I understand you miss calls, but you can't miss a call right in your face. You just can't. They should have instant replay where officials that are watching the game from the booth or in front of a screen can say, hey, that official needs to be replaced, or he gonna be fined, or whatever. There's no repercussions for us messing up. Now, what those 1 or 2 plays cost to help Colorado win, don't know. It's according to when it happened and what the situation was. But not just them. The refs are messing up across the leagues, college and NCAA. I mean, and professional. So it's crazy, man. Kudos to Kansas for winning the football game, doing what you had to do. But to me, man, the refs control that game.
D.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just going to ask, how far do you think Colorado drops in the rankings?
They already are out. Me and you discussed this. I called.
I wait until Tuesday for the officials because the coaches poll has us at 14. I don't think we'll be that high. So,
Skip, when I looked at it, Tars, I got. Because there was a bunch of mix going on. Correct. I watched that whole game, and I'm gonna say this. I think these referees. We've always talked about this. These referees control the game. It's not an offensive coordinator, defense coordinator, or head coach in this world that control a football game. It's the referees. I watched that game from top to bottom. Like I said, we are watching parity of everything. You know, Dion is prime time. We know that, and we watching these games. You have a hit on Shador Sanders, a low blow that was intentionally done, no flag.
And even after the fact, nothing is being done. I've seen calls in college where the next day the NCAA come down and say, hey, we're going to suspend him for this illegal blow. Nothing has happened to this kid.
I mean, they didn't even buzz down to say that was targeting. I mean, I don't know what's what. He targeted the quarterback's legs. And it was some other plays that was going on when Shador got sacked, and they basically ganged up on him and pushing him down and this forth or whatever. I mean, it was a physical game, and this is the part when you walk into enemy territory. First and foremost, Kansas has their own stadium. on a campus. So this lets you know the money aspect of it. With the Colorado's coming in, we're gonna move this game from our stadium to Arrowhead because you're trying to get money for your school and get the exposure. Right? Now you
Mm-hmm.
playing on a grand scale NFL style football stadium. Boom, here we go. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like every time that this game was physical, but the referee officiating was horrible. And this is the part where Dion goes back in as a coach and say, we can't leave no shadow of a doubt when we on the field. Put your foot on their throat and play. And I like what he said to his team after the game. We fumbled this. None of y'all didn't give all y'all best efforts and this, that, whatever. And they was riding the high horse because look, hey, they beat the people that we unexpectedly did not supposed to beat. These people picked Buffalo, Colorado to be last in the Big 12. They did.
Right.
They didn't expect for them to be there. They still have a shot outside in to get into the conference championship. But Kansas, on the other hand, very physical play. Very physical play. And they did what they had to do to win the game. They ran the ball. Dion missing tackle. They team missing.
Go ahead. No, that's why I said hats off to Kansas, because they came out and they played football. Yet they did what they got away with. And I don't blame them. If I can do this here and the ref don't call it the first time, I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna do whatever. And then that thing called momentum. But for a coach to say, and I get it, you're coaching and you're, like Dion said, we're raising young men at the end of the day. Hey man, y'all didn't come and play your best, blah, 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 blah. But sometimes your best just ain't good enough. And the other team is just better that day. They don't have the better athletes, they just play better and they make you look mediocre. Now, I'm not saying Kansas played that much better than Colorado, but as a coach, I don't think I would have made this statement unless I saw D didn't do what he was supposed to or what I'm accustomed to him doing. I wouldn't have said to them, y'all didn't play or y'all got on your high horse, blah, 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 and it's y'all's fault or laid the blame at their feet, because it was just too many different things going on, refereeing being the biggest eyesore of it, that caused them to lose that game. I just think the right flags would have turned that game around. Well, the flags where they should have been thrown, I think Colorado could have won that game.
Two turning points in the game that I seen. Of course, the pass interference on Travis Hunter, that was one. When the turning point of the game when Dion went forward on a fourth, and when it was 3rd and 1, they couldn't run the ball, and then they came back and made it 4th and 2. And you basically, boom, you went forward, you didn't get it, and Kansas did what they supposed to do. They punish you for going forward on that 4th down. Because at that point, the game was 14-7, something like that. Skip, you went forward, and Kansas went back down the field and scored. So now they're down by 2 scores. So we already know what we can do. We can pin the defense back, pin their ears back, rush the door, because you ain't gonna be running the ball as much as you're trying to get caught up. You follow me?
The thing is too now, Colorado is not running the ball like that until they got big leads. They've always.
I agree with you. That's for any team though. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Tars, you right too, because like I said, I watched the game. They got themselves in a situation where now we got to try to get explosive plays to get back in this game. Because then, like you said, you play your play calling gets in the game and where the referees, how referees are officiating the game. Now you're conducive to how you call your plays, because now you see how the referees are playing, or how they officiate, rather. That's what I mean. So I agree with you wholeheartedly.
All right. Well, we're going to do this kind of round robin style for the last 2 games that we got to talk about. D, give me your thoughts on Alabama getting upset by Oklahoma this weekend and be bad.
I'm glad you said that, because I watched College Game Day in the morning when they're doing their picks. And if you listen closely to what these commentators are saying, Herb Street could not pick the game that morning, because that's what they do. They pick who's going to be in the game. But right before the game, Skip, Herb Street says hey, Oklahoma has a shot in this game. He said, I'm going to tell you why. They got a good defense, but all their receivers are hurt. If they get turnovers, they're going to win this game. He didn't say nothing about Alabama and what Alabama before the game started. You understand me? Before the game started, I said, wait a minute. What Herb Street? No, we don't know. But see, Herb Street has seen them. Alabama is a one-trick pony to me. You stop mirror rolls, and that's it. It's run with mirror rolls or chuck a lug and throw the ball deep. That's it to number 2. They don't have nothing else going on. All right, they running this 3-5-5 defense. That, and to be honest with you, they light their ass. Skip, did you see any of that game? This honest. Okay, how is that you let a quarterback run student by the left, student by the right, because that's what they were running. Little pop pass here and there. And guess what? Number 32, everybody in America, number 32 for Oklahoma. I'm going to get that kid's name. I think his last name is Williams. He made some money Saturday night. He whooped that right tackle's ass the whole night. When I tell you, go back if you can, that young kid made some money. This is a five-star right tackle, if you per se. Milroe seen that number 30, and I'm talking about Skip every play. He had that dude on skates. And it's a shame the way Alabama they scored a touchdown. They say this is almost 11 years. It's the first time they lost 3 games. First time they ain't scored a touchdown
in like 10 years or something. That's crazy.
And the game was physically played. But this is the thing. Oklahoma has a defense. Mm-hmm. They have a defensive-minded coach. This is the same defense the head coach now, Skip, was the defense coordinator for Clemson. They whooped Alabama every time they played. Mm-hmm. So he knows what to do against them, even though it's different players in and out. But when you have a one-trick pony at quarterback that literally 8 for whatever, 83 yards passing, 3 turnovers. That ain't good.
I think Alabama going into the fourth quarter, they had -9 offensive yards for the whole third quarter.
Oh, man. I want you to go to
11 of 26 for 164 was Milroe.
It was terrible. Now, bad officiating on one call I seen in that game. Bad officiating. They called something where
the touchdown in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, the touchdown in the fourth quarter.
They said he was covered.
He was covered up on the line.
I sent y'all that. Didn't y'all see the thing I sent y'all? Yeah, that was just straight BS.
And Herb Street said it then. Like, what is this called? These referees, and it was the same crew, ladies and gentlemen, from the Texas-Georgia game. Mm. See, I pay attention to these referees when I see a white hat and some of these people on the sideline. I say, oh, here we go. Here we go. You know something. When you see that referee come out there for that first call, it's some foolishness going to go on in the game. It's always happening like that. We see it in the NFL with those officiating crews. We see it now and whatever. That's why when they come out and say, hey, this is a ACC staff, or this is a Big Ten staff, or this is a SEC staff. Watch them staffs in them games and watch how their game is officiated. Mm.
I also want to add Jackson Arnold, quarterback for Oklahoma, was 9 of 11 for 68 yards.
If we read these,
they was running. They dominated on the run.
Listen, Skip.
They had 260 yards of rushing.
They ran the ball. You knew it was coming. I'm talking about hand it to the quarterback, a cloud of dust.
That's how Georgia Tech used to be when they ran the auction. You know they finna run it. And you can't do that about it.
All right. Well, hey, Skip. So like I said, we're doing round robin here. Texas A&M and Auburn goes to 4 overtimes. Auburn pulls up probably their biggest win in the last couple of years.
This is one of those games that were played between 2 teams that don't matter, if that makes sense. Texas A&M, when they had Jimbo, they were on the cusp of doing all this, and then they fizzled out, and now they're just a upset-minded team, in my opinion. They have some players because of NIL money, but they're just there to make noise or get in the way. So them losing to Auburn is not a big deal to me. It's one of those things where Auburn is getting ready for the Iron Bowl. And this is their Super Bowl. This is their national championship to beat Alabama next week, right? And it's next week.
And become bowl eligible.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Auburn has something to play for, where, in my opinion, Texas A&M didn't. Not saying that's why they lost, but I think that's why Auburn won. Is because that momentum, like what Kansas had, like you said last week, is going to take them into the Iron Bowl, ready to jump on the big bad bear that's coming to town. So that's all I can say about that. I didn't watch the game, so I can't call particular plays, but yeah, that's how I feel about that.
Well, as we know, it is, sorry, D, to cut you off, but we got to keep rolling here.
I just want to tell you something, and I know you got to go. We got to go. Another game that Nick Saban sat on the panel that morning and said, "I don't like to play in Brian Dennehy Stadium or what George, whatever the stadium is down there in Auburn at night." He says, "Hunts." This is what Nick Saban said out of his mouth. He said it's hunted down there.
No, he said Jordan O'Hare.
Yeah, that's it.
He said Auburn Stadium is haunted.
Yeah, Auburn Stadium is hunted at night. This is what came out of Nick Saban's mouth that morning. And he said, don't be surprised if Auburn beats Texas A&M. Herb Street picked Auburn to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Well, as we know, fellas, it is rivalry week, and we're not going to spend too much time talking about these games. I'm just going to run through some big ones to watch. Oregon State and Boise State, because Boise State is up there. They are going to their conference championship, but they are currently ranked 12. No, I'm sorry, they're 11 now. Oklahoma State and Colorado. I don't think Colorado's got much to worry about. I think they'll have a big bounce back win. Mississippi State, Ole Miss. Georgia Tech and Georgia. D, I know you know it in the bottom of your heart. You got to watch out for the Ramblin' Wreck from Georgia Tech. They are 7-4 this year with a couple of big upset wins.
Yeah, it's a rivalry.
It is. But lucky for you, it will be in Athens with a 7:30 kickoff. That game is actually Friday night. Hey, all those games I just named are Friday after Thanksgiving. So while we're all sitting there eating leftovers, fat and happy on the couch, we can sit back and relax. Saturday morning, kicking us off at noon, we have Michigan and Ohio State. Damn what you know about Michigan this year. This is the biggest game in the Big in the Big Ten. So I don't think Michigan will pull it out, but I don't think they'll go down without a fight. I think Michigan gives Ohio State a scare this week.
Ohio State is favored by 21. Ohio State is favored by 21.
Yep. So someone else who should be scared and maybe just a little bit nervous this week is the Tennessee Volunteers going up against Vanderbilt.
Tennessee favored by 10.5.
Yes, they are. But
we don't know. We don't know what Tennessee team gonna show up. They get it their own way.
And Vandy might come in feeling sexy. You never know. Let's upset us. Let's ruin the season real quick.
You need Vandy to win.
I do need Vandy to win. I personally believe, because of the playoff implications, College Game Day should be in Clemson, South Carolina this week.
No,
They're
sir.
not going to go there.
He
said personally, so you know.
I personally think, because it's the only game of the day where whichever team wins, they probably make it.
That's not right. That's not true, Kim.
It's the only top 25 besides Texas A&M and Texas.
So Texas A&M and Texas got more implications than your game. I'm sorry.
No.
Yes.
No.
They don't.
No.
They don't.
No.
So whoever wins,
we know Texas is going to the SEC championship.
No,
to play
you
Georgia.
don't. No, you don't.
We know this.
If they lose to Texas A&M, which is a rivalry game, they haven't played in damn near 10 years. If whoever wins that game plays against Georgia in the SEC championship, by the argument, you want Texas. You, sir, you
I
want
need
Texas.
I need Texas to win that game.
You need Texas A&M to win that game.
No, because we have a win over Texas A&M, so we would jump them in the rankings.
But you want Texas to drop. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Texas would drop, and then A&M would make it back up in there. Yeah, they would make it back up in there.
Watch. You want Texas A&M to drop. You want Texas to drop. Texas A&M go to the SEC championship. Georgia stump a Lord hold on them. Now they got 3 losses. Now your argument that you want to happen intensifies.
I see it.
You see how I just put that on the screen?
I see it.
Yeah,
I can't even argue it. He made
so that's what you really want. So you need to be cheering for Texas A&M. That's who you need to be cheering for. Because now you have a Texas A&M team with 3 losses. This is what you've been advocating. Your 3 losses. Now you can argue, will we beat the runner-up to the SEC championship, and we did that. You'll be politicking like a snake oil salesman, sir. So no, let's be
All right. Well, we got the Iron Bowl going down at 3:30 Saturday. Arizona and Arizona State. That has potential to be interesting.
Who be
Washington, Oregon? Huh?
Who be why you got this week? Houston.
Yep, Houston at 10:15. Then Washington, Oregon. So it's rivalry week. We will see some good games. Hang on, my mouse cut off. There we go.
We still got the stuff. That spread up there, I believe Ohio State is going to cover.
It won't surprise me.
I believe they're going to cover.
While we're on the subject, let's talk about what was his name? Bryce Underwood. Is that the kid's name?
Yes.
Committed to LSU, flipped this past weekend, and the first number I heard when he committed to Michigan was $10 million. I heard that went up
to 12.5 allegedly.
So, when y'all say y'all hearing this, what are y'all hearing? That he's going to get NIL deals for that, or that's what they're going to pay him to come?
So the offer, so he's been committed to LSU since he was a sophomore in high school. Number 1 quarterback, number 1 player in the nation, across the board. This is who this kid is, and being that he is from Michigan had came with the bag. You know. Tom Brady got involved in some of this conversation. They called out everybody in the world, alumni of Michigan, to get this young man, and made an offer he couldn't refuse. I mean, this is what we had in the state of college football. Now, we don't know if that's official. Whoever drops this information and put this stuff out and say what they're going to say, but it'd be hard pressed. Like I told you, I'm a homegrown kid, and now I get to play for the biggest college in my state, and I'm gonna get paid to do it, and I ain't gotta leave home, and I'm guaranteed. Guess what? I'm not homesick. I got my family, my mama, my daddy, everybody can come watch me play. I can go get some home cooking if I want to, and I'm gonna be the starting quarterback. There's no ifs, ands, or buts that this kid will be starting that year. We know this.
All that sounds good, but the loopholes of getting money and staying home with it versus getting money and moving your family, to safer environments is a problem too.
Skip. I'm so glad you said that, because I want to talk about a former Gamecock who's still in the NFL, goes by the name of Jadeveon Clowney.
Yes.
He made a statement where he said the reason he wanted to get drafted by the Panthers so bad when he came out, but he knew if he stayed home, the lifestyle and friends that he had while he was growing up would not be a good environment for him now that he is making some good money. So now that he plays for the Panthers, he said, I've grown, I've matured, I'm a man now.
12 years. I mean, he's about ready to retire, ain't it?
Yeah, but he's saying I'm finally at a point where I think I can come back home.
Right.
Because when I got drafted and came out, it would not have been a good situation for me being back home.
Exactly. And that's for an NFL player who has access to a lot of stuff. We're talking about a college player who's just going to have a bunch of money. Don't know about security, don't know about safety of family. You just thinking, I got it. And it's just going to be, everything's going to be fine. You're going to be looked at different. You're going to be a target for all the women trying to get pregnant, the guys trying to rob you.
He's right.
Okay.
You're right.
You have with this money. You're comfortable at home, so you think you know. But now them girls that you didn't have a chance with, they're talking to mama now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, fellas, that will wrap us up on college this week. Hey. All right, it was a wonderful weekend for the NFL as well. Had some games go down. We thought that this schedule this week was going to be a little weak. But we turned out with some surprises and some stunners here. Let's go ahead and kick it off with the game that was played Thursday night. Even though we didn't have it on our picks, the Browns beat the Steelers.
Yes, they did.
Jameis Winston, the crab man, baby.
Jameis Winston, I'm going to tell you something. I saw the interview before the game. I don't know if he's fell off in the church or somebody done got under him, but, man, I thought something was wrong with the dude, man. Well, James, what do you feel about it? God's just been good. Well, James, what do you feel like? God has blessed me. And I'm like, what the? That's what a question. Yeah, we're going to have a good day. Blessed be to God. And I'm like, oh, man.
He is, he's from Alabama. His parents and grandmothers are very heavily into the church. He has a look in his eye that is unbelievable. You can tell he's very spiritual based when he speaks. It'd be kind of comical, but he's true to his conviction, man. And I don't mess with him.
Skip, go watch his career, like interviews and speeches. He's always said some stuff.
He always say something like that. Yeah.
Well, it didn't happen in college. It happened when he got to the league.
Yes.
Because in college he was getting in all kind of trouble. And what was the saying that he got up on the table and said back when he was in college?
Yeah.
And then he crab legs, and he got in a lot of trouble. So again,
you know what? Hey, it's another Baker Mayfield situation. He got in the league and matured.
But it took Baker Mayfield like to get kicked out of the league before he matured, though.
It took him a little while, but they get into the league and they mature a little bit. All right, well, I'm gonna go from the games not on the picks. We'll do the picks at the end of this. Hey man, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it because we snapped our 5-game losing streak. I saw a video before the Commanders and Cowboys game with a bunch of Washington fans running into the stadium talking about we want Dallas. Well, you got them. You were losing the whole game. You almost got there, but you lost. So, damn how the season's going. As long as we beat some division rivals in the process, I can still talk my junk. Because guess what? We going to go beat up on Tommy Cutlets this week.
This was a football gods type thing. Yeah.
The Giants quarterback.
DeVito.
Tommy Cutlets, that's what they call him. Yeah, Tommy DeVito.
Wasn't that y'all first win of the season when y'all beat the hell out of the Giants and act like y'all had won Super Bowl?
We beat the Cleveland Browns, and your words exactly, because I didn't get to watch the game. I was at the race that day. Were this looks like the defense y'all been waiting for. And,
exactly.
How the pages have turned.
Against Cleveland in the beginning of the year, you're damn right. Y'all looked like y'all was gonna go undefeated, and I said that then. But the football guys were with y'all, man.
Yeah.
These kickers don't miss those kicks. It was, windy and all that, and he missed it. And then the fluke kick return. I've been waiting for that to happen forever. Bless you, brother. I've been waiting on that to happen. That onside kick thing where picks it up and just take off with it, don't get touched, and that's exactly what happened. But yeah.
Well, and damn Greg Olsen too, because he was sitting there going, Well, he probably should have just brought that down and not run to the end zone. They just scored a touchdown in 20 seconds.
They put you on my head.
They just scored a touchdown in 20 seconds. Why wouldn't we take one?
See, that right there, commentators, ex-football players that become commentators are such. I'm a curse, Mama. I know you're here. Fucking hypocrites. The first one, the biggest one, and I'm glad he ain't on TV no more, is used to play with Minnesota Vikings wide receiver. You muted, man. You're muted.
Chris Carter.
The biggest hypocrite ever to play NFL football. Trent Dilfer called him in so many lies on live TV that I think they finally said, you know what, we can't have you here no more because you're contradicting yourself every other week. When players like Greg Olsen make that statement and Pat Mahomes could take 11 seconds to drive 80 yards, it happens. These guys are professional athletes. What makes you think this team can't do it when this team can? So, yeah, when they make those statements, man, it just pissed me off the day in the booth.
Especially when they just scored on one play. I mean,
it was a play, though.
It was. It's like, why wouldn't you take that opportunity to get the team up? All right. Patriots, Dolphins. Hey, man, the Tennessee Titans beat their division rival in the Texans. Sorry, choked up.
I didn't see that happening either.
I didn't either.
32-27.
The Texans keep finding themselves in games that everybody will pick them to win, and they're playing mediocre football. CJ Stroud is having a sophomore slump right now. He really is. Yeah, he is. Compared to if you look at his stats, where he came in like game busters last year, this is what's going on. He's arguably the best player on their team, and you're not playing up to par as the best player on the team.
And Skip, he's throwing a lot of interceptions in crucial moments.
Yeah, he threw too.
Yes.
All right. Well, the Vikings and the Bears. Hey, man, the Bears are a 4-7 team that has lost 4 one-score games this year, 3 of which by 3 points or less. So it could be an 8-4 team we're talking about, but they are not. So the Vikings took that game away 30-27 in overtime.
And this is one of those things where the coach has a foundation with the Bears. They're not worried about the quarterback no more because he's doing what he should be doing, especially as a rookie. So now you improve small things. You get your defensive line, go find your offensive tackle, or get you a better running back, or, do something to add to what you got versus trying to go out and Jerry Jones it. Big signing here, big signing there. Just keep plugging away because I'm quite sure they're going to give him a 2, maybe 3-year window to make this team into a contender. And like you said, they got 4. You said 4 or 8 one-loss game.
4 one-loss games, 3 by 3 points or less.
Right. So yeah, I think they're going to be somebody to talk about in the next year or 2.
All right. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say this: that Bears coach is an idiot, and I'm gonna leave it at that. He's a flat-out idiot. He's a flat-out idiot.
Okay.
He's a flat-out idiot. As you like to say, coaching, he's a flat-out idiot. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Some of the stuff that they be calling and be doing, he's an idiot. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. Good stuff.
All right, fellas. First game we called on the picks last week was the 49ers went to Green Bay. Now, Skip, the one damn time I choose the 49ers.
That's why you shouldn't.
Wait, first, what was the pick on that? We know Skip got the 49ers. What do you mean you do?
You picked the Packers. I picked the 49ers as well.
What I'm disturbed about is, Skip, with your team. I know they got injuries. I didn't know Purdy wasn't going to play. And this
either. And I wonder why he didn't.
They say shoulder or some kind of shoulder injury.
He wasn't on the injury report.
Are we taking for the rest of the year? Or are we saving ourselves? Or what are we
doing?
Who
are we going to get that's going to help us? Ain't nobody. No.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Debo's probably not going to re-sign when his contract's up this year.
What I'm what I'm saying is, I go ahead. I'm gonna let you. I'm sorry. I didn't even know this. This is weird.
And I think that's what cost us is Purdy not being there. But hey.
I mean, absolutely. You don't have your starting quarterback. It's a completely different team at that point.
Well, I know Bosa was out, right? Bosa didn't play. I know he had a hip.
Bosa was nursing an injury though.
He is.
I didn't know anything about Brock not playing because when I was flipping back and forth, I'm like, wait a minute, who is that? I didn't even know his name. I'm like, oh, let me look back real quick. Brock must have got hurt, and he never even played in the game. So I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. Well, next up on our list, we had the Cardinals and the Seahawks. I was the only one that chose the Seahawks, and they won 16-6.
Mm-hmm.
Geno Smith, man, I think the Seahawks offense will always be somewhat decent. It's their defense that they need to shake out.
The defense won that game, though, Kim.
They did yesterday. But looking back at the last couple of years with Geno Smith at the helm of the Seahawks, they've had offense. They can go down there and tell me you got DK Metcalf, you got Kenneth Walker, and what's their other receiver's name? TJ Lockett, Tyler Lockett.
TJ Lockett, and they got Njigba. They got 3 receivers that can any given Sunday just go ballistic. And what they do is they got what you say, a bend don't break defense. Defense makes the plays, keep us in the game, and however the offense goes, how the game goes. And when you least expect it, I wouldn't bet money on Seattle to lose or win. I wouldn't do it. They wouldn't play with my money. Nope, wouldn't do it.
All right, and Philly went to LA last night. Saquon Barkley put on a clinic, to say the least. D, I'm gonna let you talk about your boy.
Because when we gonna get to the show running with this, run the ball, you win the football game. Do I preach this? This me knowing my team that I cheer for.
Yes, that's all you say. If we run the damn ball.
This man, outside of you don't know this kid, this man right here can tell you in the past 20 years that he's known me. I am a Madden Skip?
Savant. He get out. I have dudes up real quick. You know how I play on the game. I play with dudes all across the country, and I beat the hell out of them in Call of Duty and Destiny and everything else. And the first thing, I bet you won't do that in Madden. I said, I got somebody for you though. I'll sick D on them. Yeah, D punish them. But anyway, go ahead.
But with the game is simple, man. When you go get these players right now, arguably Saquon to me is the MVP of the league outside of Mr. Jackson. And when I tell you, and what I mean by that is, and they're going to play. Baltimore has to play the Eagles, and I think that'll be the MVP game right there. And what I mean by that is, Eagles was a great team. They have went into a plateau. They can go toe to toe with anybody and Saquon back in their backfield. And they are using their free agent, highly talented pickup to the utmost. Give him the ball, and you see what happens. We haven't seen
offensive line ain't no joke.
That too, but here's house calling in the NFL. You break one for 50, you come in after the half and break another one for 70.
But see, this is what we all said back in the day, Kev, when we said if Barry Sanders had Emmitt Smith line. This is what we would have saw back then. What Saquon is doing now, because Philadelphia has always had a badass offensive line, along with Dallas and the 49ers, a couple other teams. The offensive line was never the issue. So now that this running back is exploiting the strengths of Philadelphia, oh my goodness.
I mean, this is a test to the Giants. This shows the Giants' inability to put a team together around somebody of this type of talent.
It's not like he was playing like a scrub in New York.
No, he wasn't
paying him what he thought he was worth. And
he wasn't. Go ahead, I'm sorry, Skip. Go ahead.
The situation evolves to Saquon Barkley's out here doing this. The Giants let him go to pay Daniel Jones $160 million, and Daniel Jones is sitting on the bench.
He's not on the bench, sir. He's at home. They cut him. They
cut him? I didn't see they released him.
Oh, you didn't see that. They released him. They released him. Yes.
I didn't know that. This week?
Giants quarterback clears waivers as a free agent.
They released him.
That's why these guys should get guaranteed money. NFL the only professional sports franchise that don't guarantee the contract.
Well, they got to pay him. It's something if somebody pick him up, I
got it right here. Yeah. Pluck Jones off waiver, claim balance. All right, the balance of his contract for this season is about $12 million. In addition to the $23 million in injury guarantees for after the season. So he's still going to walk away with this with what, 30-something million?
31, 32 million right there.
Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell said he had interest in Jones. So he could still go off and get another contract. It's not going to be, he can go in and sign for a couple $1 million more to either be the backup or be a starter at the Vikings.
So what you just read, Kev, all that the Giants are going to pay him is that 30-something million that we saw.
Mm-hmm.
So he had no guaranteed money in his contract.
He got it up front already, Skip.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, cool.
Yeah, he got that money when he signed the deal. But now, this is the part where the GM's job is in question. You follow me? Because the GM, and the reason why I say this, Skip, you got to go look it up. They went in depth, and me and Kevin talked about this. The GM talked about during off season that they want to Saquan back. The owner said, "Hey man, I don't want Saquon to go nowhere. And if the Philadelphia Eagles get him, I'm not going to be able to sleep." The owner is telling the GM this live on their show.
Yep, Hard Knocks.
On Hard Knocks. The GM turns around and gets on the phone with Saquon people and say, "Hey, we want you back, but we're going to let you test free agency. And if somebody comes with an offer, we're going to match it." You are telling your number one player to go out and see what he can get on the market. Oh, so that let me know you really don't want me.
Mm-hmm.
I went back. I'm glad he didn't. The two teams that make mistakes with running backs are paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys and the Giants. They're paying for it. And I'm so happy that it happened to them because you just don't do that. All that, they're trying to not declassify. They're trying to make running backs
not as important.
Extinct.
And they are needed.
They are essential.
They are showing you what you can do with a running back.
Mm-hmm.
So you paid Prescott, you paid all these other players, and you can't run the ball. You bring
Nick Saban said it the best. You can have, even though it's college and the roster's smaller, he said you can have about Ohio State. You can have a $20 million roster. If you don't know what to do with it, don't mean shit.
Well, if you look at Kev, go look at your history of Super Bowl winners and multiple Super Bowl winners. It's two things on the offensive side it's three things on the offensive side of the ball: offensive line, a quarterback, and a running back.
Mm-hmm.
They are essential, as you would say, on the offensive side of the ball.
The Rams, when they won their Super Bowls, it was about the receivers, the quarterback, and the running back versus the line because they didn't keep the ball long at all.
Oh, no.
You know what I'm saying? So
no.
I would definitely include the receivers with some teams because some teams have a running back that's just journeyman. I ain't gonna say journeyman. That's just a blue collar and then get you 80, 90 yards. Whereas like a Saquon or your boy that's with the Ravens, they're gonna get you what you need when you need it. So I get what you're saying, but yeah, I just got the receivers because they make the game.
Oh, I agree with you. I agree with you, but when you see stats of the Ravens are undefeated when King Henry gets over 90 yards rushing,
yeah,
that's crazy. The games they have lost, he hasn't gotten his touches.
Oh, right.
Yeah, sometimes it'd be because of turnovers, like you said. It'd be because the other team is dominating the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Time of possession has a lot to do with that too. Because if the other team is a running team, then King Henry ain't gonna get to be able to run, especially if you behind.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, fellas, the last game that we've got on here is the game happening now. It is currently 14-10 Baltimore, 24 seconds until the half.
They came back.
All right, let's get into the picks for this week. I'm going to read you. These are the Thursday games right here. We're going to kick Thanksgiving off with the Bears going to Detroit. That is game one.
Now,
game two.
Years past, Detroit would never get picked.
No.
Because they play every single Thanksgiving long as I remember football.
Mm-hmm.
But now, boy.
But as I said, the Bears have lost some tight games, and we have to acknowledge Caleb Williams is not playing bad football.
No.
So we don't have to put that game on here. I'm reading the games that we're gonna get for the picks. So we got Bears, Lions, Giants at Dallas. Dallas hasn't won a home game all year. FYI.
They only played about 4. They only played about 4 against the Giants.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
Yep. Dolphins are going to Green Bay.
That's a game. Put that on there.
Yep.
Put that on there.
In that game.
Put that on there.
I'm writing. Man.
What are they playing? They playing in Green Bay, or
they are at Lambeau.
Oh Lord.
Tua can't play in the cold. I'm taking the Packers.
Only because Tua can't play in the cold?
Yep.
I'm gonna say this: we don't know what Green Bay has a tendency to play up against San Francisco and play down against Miami.
Ain't it though?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. They pot is stirred by how Jordan Love played, but I'm gonna take the Packers.
You say the Falcons? What'd you say?
Packers.
Oh, it's not like you said the Falcons. I'm like, wait a minute, what? Yeah, I'm taking Green Bay.
All right, we are all taking the Packers on that. Friday.
What'd you say, Skip?
I'm one of the few Florida boys that don't like the Dolphins at all.
Yeah, I did.
The Friday game is Raiders Chiefs, 2 non-Raiders. I don't think that's a good one to put on there.
I'm not gonna say it's a good one, but for some reason the Raiders play against Kansas City. I don't know what it is. It's a rivalry thing, but they always play them for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Colts Patriots, no. Steelers Bengals.
Yes.
Yeah, but they 4-7. And they got Cincinnati favored in that game.
Yeah.
Well, remember what I told you, Skip. The Bengals, every game that Joe Burrow has over 300 yards of passing this season, they have lost.
You know why they favor Skip?
Because of their defense.
Yeah, they're favored because again we've seen a Pittsburgh team lose a game and couldn't score a touchdown when they get in the red zone. And we know Joe Burrow doesn't score.
Right? They got Josh Allen in the MVP race. I'm confused.
Burrow.
So they got Josh Allen in the MVP race.
He should.
Anyway.
All right, Skip, who you got? Steelers, Bengals.
Oh.
We're playing in Cincinnati. They're playing in Cincinnati.
And Cincinnati plays by 3. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh.
All right.
I want the Steelers to lose, but I'm picking Pittsburgh.
Do what you got.
I'm gonna take Cincinnati, man. I'm gonna take Cincinnati. They backs against the wall, man. It just.
I'm on the same. And that's what I was gonna say next. The Chargers and Falcons. Here's the funny part about it, fellas. The Falcons have slipped to only a 1-game lead in their division.
I'm taking the Chargers. Harbaugh has this defense playing very physical. This whole team is not the same since Los Angeles Chargers. They're not the same. This team, he has put his stamp on this team.
There you go. He's given them the hard-nosed Harbaugh attitude. like, listen, guys, I'm a former player, so I get it. But this is what we got to do to win. The same way he did with San Francisco, the same thing he did in Michigan, and he's doing it here. They have his identity, hard-nosed football, and they only figure out 1.5 points. So I'm taking the Chargers just because I want to talk trash to Kent next week because he said,
well,
yeah.
We are going to add a 5th game to this week. Game number 4. We're at 3. We're going to pick the 4th, and I'm letting you know we're adding a 5th.
Okay.
I'm going to put the 49ers Bills on here pending
Good
Brock
game.
Purdy.
Good game. I hope he plays.
Say again.
49ers Bills.
In Buffalo.
Give me the Bills.
Well, I'm going for my team, so that's it. I just hope.
You know
I'm gonna take the Bills too.
Yeah, you're supposed to. I get it.
And reason being, the injuries are mounting up on the 49ers. Yeah, they're mounting up. I just don't know if they have, and I'm not saying a team would do this mailing in the season because of injuries, and I know they cap stricken to a certain degree, and now we got to play for positioning in the draft because we know, some of the teams know, hey, we just ain't got it this year.
Cowboys.
And we got to get something because you're gonna have to get something out of the draft if you, like you say, if you lose a Debo in free agency, you gotta replace that play.
Yep. All right, that one's locked, and the last game will be, as we just said, probably the MVP game. Philadelphia is going to Baltimore.
I like old Lamar. Old Lamar.
What's the spread?
6.5. I'm sorry. There's not a spread on it yet.
Ravens, I'm sorry. There is not. I'm looking at the Rams. They don't.
But they have the matchup predictor gives it 56.8 to the Ravens.
Yeah.
And that might be because they're at home, but I'm picking. Well, y'all know what I'm picking. My situation is Philadelphia defense is better than Baltimore, and that's a fact. Yeah, on paper.
Okay.
I think more than on paper. I don't know, man. I'm torn on this one.
I'm going with Lamar Jackson, sir. Lamar Jackson Senior.
Lamar. He gonna say senior.
Yeah, Lamar. Lamar. That boy can run that ball. And you ought to see him throw it. He throws bullets everywhere he throws, too. Yep.
Okay, Skip, you convinced me. I'm taking the Ravens and old Lamar.
Lamar.
Right. Fellas, we are locked.
It's gonna be a shootout between that young boy Lamar and the old veteran over there that's running the ball for Philadelphia. That boy's good, man. If you give him a hole, watch out now. He's gone. But Lamar, he's gonna break some ankles and he's gonna get it. Now you guarantee that. Do you hear me?
Dadgummit. All right.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I mean, we were going to do the MVP topic, but I think we pretty much know who y'all's MVPs are. I know you got Saquon, and I know you got Lamar.
Well, right now, if it was the season was in right now, no doubt it'd be Saquon, probably unanimous. But I think body of work, and not that Saquon ain't been balling all year, but so has Lamar.
Yeah.
Even in the games they lost in the beginning of the season when people were counting them out, Lamar was balling. It was his defense that was costing them games. They lost leads in all three of the first 4 games they lost. They went into the fourth quarter with the lead. So it wasn't his fault. So body of work, I think, if Lamar beats him, and I say if Lamar wins, it's going to be because of body of work for the whole season.
I totally agree with you. We have seen in past years that the MVP is a quarterback-driven award. Last time a running back won was Adrian Peterson.
He rushed for almost 2,000 that year, didn't he?
Yeah, so if Saquon eclipses 2,000 yards and total. I'm just saying rushing. We know he gonna get it totally, with receiving it.
But they say he got a chance to win get 2,500.
That's what I'm saying. So
which will break the record.
yeah, so if he does something like that, that's a once in a lifetime type thing, or what he does, yes, he's deserving so, because being a free agent coming in, Lamar has won multiple MVPs already, and Lamar, regardless, you have to credit the fact that King Henry did come over. Lamar was already balling. Don't take that from me before he got there. But this is what happens when your team goes out and pick up key free agent superstar players. And I'm talking about on both sides of the ball. And we will say this again: your team somebody needs to be fired, which we know who needs to be fired, but he's the owner and he can't fire himself. That you let this type of stuff go on your watch. You follow me? When you had these two backs available and you didn't bag up the brake truck to try to, one of them didn't even need that much money. One of them, you didn't even bring them in for a conversation.
I've told you the worst part is they're paying Zeke the same thing that Derrick Henry wanted.
Exactly. The exact same thing. And I'm saying to myself, what the? And that's just like, real quick, how I went off in the first beginning of the season on John Lynch, and I went off on all these GMs. You're playing around with your team. You're affecting the chemistry by not signing these players in the beginning, because everything that Trent asked for, they gave him. Everything that Ayuk asked for, they gave him. So what you waiting on? We're losing games because there's no chemistry, because they're doing contract holdouts. Anyway, yeah. Dallas ain't gonna be nothing until Jerry sells the team, or he just sits back in the box and be a owner and not a GM.
Yeah.
And Dion is not going pro.
No,
he is not. All these conspiracy theories, but if Dallas drafts Shadur, then man, they just gave that $200 billion. No.
Oh, and I'm glad you brought that up before we forget. Shout out to a kid that we covered, watched, seen.
Yes.
We sat here and one of our shows, if you go back, that iconic picture that we did see. And we had his quarterback coach, shout out to Coach Barnes down in Carrollton, that has welcomed us in to have access to that program down there. Coach Barnes, you gonna have a resume built around here, but you already have one, sir. That that you're able to say, hey, I coach these kids. They have went on to bring up pastors and so forth and so on. But we all kind of called it when we seen that iconic picture of Shador handing the keys over to Juju. And I'm gonna say this again: these kids want to play. They're not trying to sit and wait, red shirt a year, and this so forth and so on. They're going into they're going into programs ready to play. Once Carrollton is still in the playoffs, depending on when their season is over with, we probably will see him early up on Colorado's campus. Getting ready to do what they do. And I'm gonna say this too. We know Travis Hunter and Shador we're going into the draft. We know that Dion still got some dogs over there on that team. Don't get it twisted.
And he got dogs coming. He got dog. IMG whole football team damn near done been up there already. And ain't nothing but dogs come out of that academy. It's not a high school, it's an academy because they draft their players. But IMG come out, boy. And Dion is bringing them in. So I want him to get some beef on the offensive and defensive side of the line. And we're going to be talking about Colorado for years to come. I promise you. Yeah.
I believe that Bill Belichick or Robert Saleh will be the Cowboys' next head coach. And if it's Belichick,
Belichick.
Parcells.
You think Parcells going to come back?
He don't want to know how to handle Jerry. That's why he left, was because Jerry wouldn't give him what he needed, and he kept barking down what he wanted him to do. Parcells said, I'd rather leave than let you tell me how to coach my team. If Parcells comes back, you're going to see a GM in the building.
Parcells too old. I think he's too old, Skip. I really do.
Okay. That's what
I told you. You know what I told you? He made the comment. Remember what I told you? He talking about Jason Witten. Like, what?
I wouldn't be too mad at Jason Witten. Not as the head coach. Not as the head coach, but to have him in some type of a big coaching role. I wouldn't be too mad at that. Got a career Cowboy that wants nothing but the team to succeed.
If that's the case, they might well get Troy Aikman.
That ain't him.
Troy got his pistol job comment. He ain't gonna do that. All right. Well,
I think it's gonna be a veteran coach that takes it over.
I would rather it be a veteran, but I like I said, I'm thinking we're gonna go get somebody like Robert Saleh.
He back on somebody's staff. I don't see him coaching. No, he doesn't fit y'all. To me, he doesn't fit y'all criteria.
He would have to change all. That's not his style of game.
He's a defensive guy. That's why the Jets, when they fired him, it made no sense because in the last 3 games they had let up 1 touchdown.
Yeah,
the offense couldn't score.
But that's Aaron Rodgers.
Hey,
well, there are reports of Aaron Rodgers talking about getting benched or cut.
I don't see that happening. Too much money involved. And then the team that would be packing it in if they bench Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, they have nothing else to play for.
They got what, 3 wins?
Yeah, that.
I mean, it's just like Dallas right now. I would rather us lose.
You got to justify the ticket prices, and you got to justify the paycheck. Damn, because you ain't got the 3 wins. Putting them on the bench now, you ain't gonna sell no more tickets.
Yeah. The question is, Aaron Rodgers coming back next year? That's the Lord have mercy. Can you move on from him? Is it a team out there that you can be like, hey, he got me? You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of storylines up there because you can't keep holding on to an older quarterback, that's on the backside of his career.
But do you think Aaron is the problem?
Yes.
On the field now.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He throws his little temper tantrums and cries and moans until he gets what he fucking wants. I'm sorry, my bad, D.
No accountability, Skip. There's no accountability. It's everybody else's faults but yours. They have let you come into this franchise and let you basically take it over. The team on the solid outside of the defense was one of the top rated defenses. And what they kept saying, we just need a quarterback. We just need a quarterback.
Yeah.
That was the whole conversation. We needed a quarterback. You run out, and it's the second time in history that this organization has went and got a former Hall of Fame type Green Bay quarterback. It hasn't gotten them anywhere.
Neither time has it. And you are correct.
All right, well, fellas, it is time for your last takes. Skip, start us off here.
Like I said just a second ago, Deion Sanders is doing such a good job in college football. It'd be a travesty of his coaching ability to try to go into the NFL and make a difference, especially with a team that's doing worse, in my opinion, than what Colorado's team was doing when he took it over. Now, college and pro is different things, different worlds, but in the professional world, you're coaching a bunch of grown men who you really can't tell what to do. You really don't have the power to bench them like you would in a college setting. So I believe his calling is college football, mentoring these children, and put them in a better position to succeed at the next level. Kudos to you, Deion, to your boys and all the kids you don't put out that's going farther in life. That's my final take, man. Deion needs to stay in Colorado and big these kids
up. Mine is thank you guys again, and ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. Great show to everybody, and happy Turkey Day as we get into these holiday festivities and things of that nature. And I'm just waiting on college football Saturday, man, this weekend. This year has been unbelievable. The games that we have to cover and watch to get our information and see these players. We looked at some of these teams and some of these games to see who we might find in the draft for our respective teams or this so forth. Now is what meaningful games each and every week. If some university way out here versus this university that we never looked at. So that's my final take, man. I'm enjoying this year. We got to get into some NBA. We're going to start getting into that too because some stuff going on that we haven't discussed. But thank you guys again.
D, did you ever think that you'd be waiting to watch the Clemson-Carolina game at the end of the season?
No, yeah. I gotta tell you, Kev, it's a rivalry game. It's a rivalry game. Since me and you have met, you have made it a point of yours to have me watching the South Carolina game. I don't care for Dabo. Your head coach has done a wonderful job. And what he does, he's maximizing the talent. And I'm saying it again. I am happy. The Bulldogs do not play your squad because of your defensive line only. Only.
All right. Well, my last take here. Men don't belong in women's sports.
Oh,
that's it. Because let's skip somebody. I heard something earlier this week, and it made the most sense to me in the world. Right. If a trans woman is considered a woman, why do we put trans in front of it? We don't call a regular woman a biological woman.
Ooh.
If it's a real woman, why do we put trans in front of it?
Well, what's the other word they use? Is this? Don't they call a regular woman a cis woman now? Is that the other word they use?
I don't know. I know there's a thing as cisgender, but I don't know if I can 100% say the definition. I don't know. Yeah. But hey, also my other last take. Aha, go cock.
Play that little soundbite again.
All right. You know what, Skip? I actually got a better one for you.
Here come the rooster.
All right, that's enough.
Just let him have it. Y'all just let him have it. Just let him have it.
And I will be real sad next week if we lose this game.
You know what? Okay, I'm gonna predict this here. If y'all win and y'all don't make the playoffs, you're gonna be even sadder.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. But we can still say we beat the rival.
Yeah, you got more at stake than just winning this week.
But you know what I think it does, Skip? Even if we miss it, I think we already have the number 7 recruiting class in the country. What I think happens if we beat Clemson, finish the season 9-3, and then I believe that will keep and add to so many recruits.
Well, yes, in the grand scheme of things, before the NIL, hell yeah. But now it's about that money, man. When you got a team like Texas A&M getting,
we got old Southern money, dog. We got money at South Carolina. We got championship programs all around.
We didn't discuss this. I'm sorry.
What player do y'all have because y'all have money? What player do y'all have on y'all roster right now that came because of NIL?
I don't know any that came because of NIL, but we're getting the players paid.
UCLA Skip upset Don Staley there.
Oh yeah.
Now I saw something on that, and Don Staley has a young girl on the bench that's better than her starter. The girl got in the game and took 2 ill-advised shots, and Don benched her. And the girl that she benched her for, which was the starter, only scored 4 points the whole game. So I think there's fighting going on, and Dawn's got to puff her chest out to say that, hey, I'm the big chicken around here. Y'all gonna do it my way, or you're gonna sit on the bench. I don't care about winning during the season because that's not gonna hurt us. What's gonna hurt us is in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So she's building character and establishing dominance, I think, as a coach. That to me wasn't an upset. That was a coach not doing what she needed to do to win.
Kind of maybe like using it as a lesson. Hey, it ain't all about what we do right here.
That's right. Because I know if I put her in, she gonna lock this girl up or whatever the case may be. I don't know how much they lost by, but yeah, they're making a big deal out of the fact that she lost after 43 straight wins. Gino Auriemma had 88 straight wins. So
You're right. You're right. All right, fellas, we got to get off of here. To everybody who tuned in tonight, thank you very much. We will be back same time next week, 8 p.m. on Monday night. Until then, while you eat good, while you watch some good games.
Y'all see it. Y'all see it. Hold on. Boom. HBCU pride, baby.
Yes, sir. And please remember to keep the beer cold and the wings lemon pepper, baby. We are